Welcome to Goodbye or Goodbye. Our goal here to help cut through that noise to navigate the best moves for your portfolio. I'm here now with Granite Shares founder and CEO, Will Rind. Will, let's go through a couple picks here. We're going to start on one that you like, Will, and that would be Nvidia. Now, this name has had a nice run. It's about 30% now this year. Of course, big, powerful move it had over off that April low. You say it's still a buy. Let's go through the reasons why. Point one, no surprise, AI market leader.
Yeah, I think this is something that you see the AI sector rebounding so strongly after we got to the market lows. And if you talk about AI market leadership, we have to talk about the leader, the most important stock in the space, and that's Nvidia.
Point number two, why you say it's a buy, H20 chip sales to China, they are back on.
Yeah, so this was a big sort of issue for the company in the last quarter amidst the height of all of the trade talk. The tariff was that the company was blocked from selling these China chips or chips that complied with the export restrictions and took a big write down because of that. China, obviously, huge market. Big news for the company that they're now under license to start exporting these chips again.
Yeah, tremendous. I think CEO Jensen Huang, they're kind of proving his chops, not just as an executive, but clearly as a politician, as a diplomat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Third reason, first company to $4 trillion market cap.
Yeah, so first company to hit 4 trillion, which in itself, amazing milestone. But I think looking out further, could this be the company that achieves $5 trillion market cap and the first one to do it? AI is getting stronger all the time. And again, this is the company that's leading the space right now. There is no other company that competes with Nvidia at this level.
Now, before you pile in, let's end here. The downside risks that you say investors need to think about with this one.
Yeah, the downside risk is one that I think has been litigated over and over, particularly over the last couple of years, which is when you get a stock that's performing so well, you're going to get critics come out and talk about the risks. And the risks with AI is, first of all, the threat of competition within the space. But the threat also, as we saw with tariffs and the trade war, is of geopolitics getting in the way and therefore providing some kind of erosion to the margins that they enjoy.
Do you ever think about, Will, this name, obviously very well known and loved on the street. I mean, nearly 90% of analysts who are paid to tell you what to do with it, I think nearly 90% say it's one's a buy. Is that ever a concern, Will, to you, that everybody seems to be piled on one side of the boat?
I think it was, let's say, 6 to 12 months ago, and particularly when the trade war started at the beginning of the year. And you saw that reflected in the stock price. The stock took a big dive along with everybody else as people were really trying to figure out what does this mean for a company like Nvidia. But as you can see, that once there was some clarity, and particularly around the exporting of chips to China, the company has come back, very, very strongly and established a market-leading position, not just in terms of AI, but in terms of overall stock market leadership with the 4 trillion market cap.
All right, so we hit the one you like. Here's one you'd say to avoid, and that would be Apple. Now, we're going to go through 3 reasons you say this one is one you don't want to own. One is just the returns year to date.
Yeah, it's funny. You'll put this on to be maybe spark some conversation, a little bit controversial. But you cannot deny that this has not been a great performing stock this year. In a market where we're talking about meme stocks coming back and the return of euphoria, Apple, one of the flagship companies in the market, is down 15% roughly year to date.
Second reason, caught in trade war crosshairs.
Yeah, probably one of the best examples of a company which is really trying to find its way in all of this trade war. First of all, as everybody knows, had a big manufacturing base in China, which was very much called into scrutiny, then tried to move some of that production to other countries, such as Nvidia, and then seemingly caught up in that again. The administration keen on trying to move that production back to the US, or some of that production back to the US, which may or may not be achievable.
Third reason you say you would avoid Apple.
I think that this is probably the most important one. We just talked about the leader in AI right now. We talked about the most important theme in investing right now. This is one company that just hasn't quite got it right in terms of AI. It's not firing on all cylinders. We all understand the importance of having an Apple device in practically everyone's pocket. We just hasn't quite got that AI firing on all cylinders yet. So still product range is incrementalism in terms of rolling out new phones, but is lacking a bit of that what next? What's the next big thing?
Now, before you avoid it, upside risks you think investors need to consider?
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, one of the leading companies, most iconic companies in the world. Clearly have the user base, they have all of the capability to do it, and it wouldn't be, that shocking if they could turn this around and produce your good AI situation within the iPhone in particular, but that new products, something that kind of changes the game a little bit in terms of the next big thing.
My only question, Will, with AI, I get your point, which is very well taken. There's no doubt investors very excited about AI. The street's excited about AI. I do wonder, Will, and I don't have an answer for this, how excited consumers are for AI. I mean, I wonder when Tim Cook takes that stage in September and he introduces the new iPhones, how many folks are going to say, I'm upgrading because of AI versus I'm upgrading because of the processor and the battery?
I think you're exactly right, Josh. But the question is, would they get more people upgrading because of AI if there was a very decent leap forward in terms of AI technology within the iPhone? I think the answer would be unequivocally yes. It's just that has been a lukewarm reason right now to upgrade, and so therefore it has been on the normal upgrade cycle without anything sort of any game changers out there in terms of changing the story. But I think a meaningful AI application would change that.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Buy Nvidia. Will says avoid Apple. Will, thank you so much, and thank you for watching. Goodbye, goodbye.